Workshop Wednesday Rewind with Dr. Kiki.
When I first started doing comedy, it wasn't my angle or my goal to actually do it clean or without any vulgarities. But the lady who gave me my first opportunity at her coffee shop, she didn't want any cussing. She didn't want any vulgarities. And so by me not doing that, that allowed the shows to fill up with church ministries, like
Okay.
married ministries and single ministries. And so from there, I just noticed, oh, okay, here is a need for what I do, for what I'm doing. And so it just kind of kept going from there. My mom, typical Black mother back in the day, basically had a few rules. One rule was she would say like, if you go to jail, don't call here,
I like her.
Yeah, she would say, don't call here because you did not call me before whatever you did, whatever stupid thing you did, you didn't call me.
Right.
So don't call me now. Yeah, don't call here because her thing, I'm not coming to get you.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up with that. I also grew up with, don't bring no babies home.
Right.
Yeah. Now she didn't say don't do it.
She couldn't stop that, right?
But she said don't bring no babies home. Don't bring no babies home. So I knew not to go to jail. I knew don't bring no babies home. And then I ain't gonna lie, back in the day, people probably don't like this today, but my mom, if she can't use your comb, don't bring her home. And so now, as I done more research, she could use our comb. But nevertheless, I understood what my mom was saying. So kind of grew up like that. And my mom was a single parent for about till I got to the 6th grade, the summer before the 6th grade.
Okay.
And then she married a pastor.
Okay.
She married a pastor, and then we moved out to Missouri City. And that brought a whole lot of structure to my life. It brought a whole lot of structure on marrying the pastor. And he was real cool. His name was Joe Colton. He was real dope, man. A few words.
Okay.
All about action, though. Taught me about basically how to be a man. I mean, all the things that men do. How to take care of the crib and how to treat the women, and just the whole nine. And so then I graduated, and then once I graduated. The biggest thing that they did, and I tell this to everybody, even all my students, once I got to college, probably after my second year of college, when you would come back home, you want to buck the system a little bit because they still had rules. And I'm like, I'm grown. And they was like, no, 2 grown people live here, not 3, 2, They would say stuff like you grown when you're on your own and you don't need a loan and all this type of stuff. And so I still wanted to buck the system. And so I missed curfew one time. And next thing I know, they changed the locks.
All right.
Yeah. My key didn't work no more. They changed the locks on me, and that grew me up. That grew me up real quick. Like I realized, oh, this really ain't my house. This their house.
Yeah.
And so, it was a lesson kind of like I needed to learn at that time.
Yeah, my grandmother used to have a saying that if I let you run this house, then I need to get out of it. Right? Because this ain't my house if I let you run it. So pretty much I knew she wasn't going nowhere. So
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
I had to go.
Yeah.
So that was, it was a very different time, and you're right. And that's amazing to hear that your mom started off as a single parent and then was able to marry a man that took ownership to mold you into a responsible man. And that is a blessing because many single mothers, because I have been married and divorced and now remarried again. And it's, yes, right, to someone from Corrigan, Texas. And it is a blessing to find the ability to blend, and then someone to pour into an African American male child, because typically those are challenges as for single women, so that is, and for him to be the pastor of the church and marry a woman that was a single parent. So I hear that in your comedy a lot. My daddy chose my mama.
No, my mom. He knew what he wanted. Church is not God, but they let me know that church is important. And I try to share with people, because people always say, you ain't got to go to church. I feel you. You don't. Mm-hmm. But why wouldn't you? If you're a Christian, why wouldn't you go and be a part of this fellowship?
Right.
Man, when I, coming up, when I got my apartment, it was people at the church who gave me furniture or bought me furniture. And when I got married, it was people at the church who got my life started and, all this in the right direction. So why not be a part of something that can help you, that can propel you? We always look at the negatives of church, the mess and all that. It's going to be mess. Anywhere as humans, it's going to be some mess.
It's mess at work.
It's mess at work. It's mess at school. It's mess everywhere. But when it's at the church, people, they're getting all shocked. Mm-hmm. So I don't tend to focus on the mess that happens at church, and it happens. But it's also a bunch of great things that happen there as well. And so, that's, I think that's what I try to exemplify as relates to, church and how I was raised and the part that I play.
What advice would you give parents? Because I know you have your own tribe. What advice would you give parents and teachers, because you're a professor, and to support students that are struggling with their faith right now and what they're actually seeing going on around them during this season? Like, what advice would you give parents and teachers to support these students?
I would say continue to be positive. You'd be surprised how just having a positive outlook, how that changes everybody around you.
That's true.
I know at my home, when I'm confident and when I'm letting it be known, that everything we all right, we're going to be all right, relax, we good. And when you believe that, and then you also demonstrate that, then that pick up everybody around you. But if you around here mad, you around here frustrated, you around here worrying, then of course everybody else around you gonna do the same. And I think this is when being a believer, this is when it kind of helps. This is when it kick in, because even though it's not good, I know it's working for my good, and I believe that. Mm-hmm. And so I still keep a positive outlook. My perspective is good and everything. And so that would be my thing, for all the teachers and the parents, man, stay positive.
Right.
Stay positive. Keep that positive energy flowing, and then it rubs off on everybody around you.
Again, I thank you so much for your time and all of the things that you're doing in the community. I mean, it's amazing, and I appreciate you. And I'm a Texas Southern alumni as well. I went there as well, so I appreciate you again, and thank everyone that has tuned in to be here with us, Mr. Marcus D. Wiley.